Lynn Margulis, Distinguished Professor in the Department of Geosciences at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst, has been a member of the National Academy of Sciences since 1983. She is best known for her path-breaking work on the bacterial organs of cell organelles and for her collaboration with Dr. James Lovelock.
Be about the nature of genius. I think it was Miles again who made up this title, the intuition process as it works in science and literature. But I think that genius is a privileged metaphor of the Romantic poets. It's a romantic literary conceit. As inspiration, it's a gift from God. These geniuses are coming directly from the divine. It's the presence of the divine through the human vehicle, and I don't think it exists. I don't think that we live in that thought, with that thought style anymore. There's only one person I ever met who I thought even began to border on genius, and I must say that he's not here now. And that may be Letterberg, but I think just that he moves very fast. He moves the way Jim Glick this morning said about the zapping through the television. So it's probably superficial genius. Even him. The three people that I would point out, I've been dying since yesterday to share this with you, is, Leonardo da Vinci and Franz Schubert. I can't tell how they got, I just can't see how they did what they did, of course. And my neighbor is Emily Dickinson. And she, to me, has the last word on truth. And in fact, that's the name of our book, Slanted Truths, Essays on Gaia, Symbiosis, and Evolution. Actually, they said, put that symbiosis stuff in the middle because no one ever remembers the middle, like middle children, you know. But anyway, that book I can't find anywhere. We couldn't even get Marshall to order it. But I do have these yellow things that describe it, and I mean, it's our favorite and by far most literary of our books. At any rate, she said this, Slanted Truths, where did you get a title? This is her title. Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. Success in circuit lies. Too bright for our infirm delight, the truth's superb surprise. As lightning to the children eased by explanation kind. The truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind. Yeah. And, I'll tell you what I think. She also said about a little madness, which I want to quote at the end of this little talk. I'm trying to recoup my losses from yesterday. And so I will quote her at the end, and I will tell you what I think the two absolute elements are for the intuitive process, because I will deny that genius even is any kind of scientific notion. But to recoup the losses, I wanted to go back and say, everyone, not everyone, but in principle, one can participate in the big story. And science has at its fingertips, and it's getting better every day, the big story, from the Big Bang, the origin of the moon, great news about that, the origin of the planets, the origin and evolution of life, the early evolution of life. These are many different sciences and hundreds, thousands of people participating. And I wanted to show you under decent conditions my slides, a couple of my slides. So we'll try to do that. We may not succeed. But let's try. I know we'll do better. We have a fantastic stage manager, and I don't know if you know that Kathleen, our stage manager, is also playing in the Vagina monologues. I saw her picture on the street today. So she highly recommends it. Mondays and Tuesdays. And then I've got my slides up there. We're going to turn off the C-SPAN. Annoying lights. So, yeah, wonderful. So, may I have a slide stand? Yeah, I think there was an earlier one, or maybe there wasn't. Yeah, I think we saw this yesterday. This is the way it was like. And what I want to impress on you is that 99.9% more of Earth history is absolutely without people. No people, none at all. And this is certainly when there was, just before life, when there were no people. May I have the next slide, please? This is the way all the inner planets looked in the beginning. Go ahead, the next one, please. And there's life. And we now know a lot about that. You don't see it, but this is genius. This is genius. Genius belongs to the biosphere. What do I mean by this? Those rocks are made by bacteria. Yes, bacteria that are not hurting anybody. Those rocks are made by bacteria that do what? They produce all the food in the world, and they still do. And they produce all of the oxygen. And they've been doing it for 3,500 million years. We are absolutely dependent on those bacteria, and we see those things on the street with their branches hanging up. And what are they? They are holders for those same bacteria, because they are what make the leaves green in the plants. So just to give you an idea, genius is on the earth, it belongs to the other organisms, and we are very late comers, and we are distinguishable basically by our chattiness, our prattling as prattling prodigies, and I think that all of us know that. Anyone who uses email is very clear about that. There were two geniuses, and I don't have time to really tell you about them, insofar as they exist at all in science. One is L.R. Cleveland. No one's heard of him, right? He's the one who figured out the origin and evolution of sex. And you know, Miles has me really singing for my supper, and I'm going to do something about sex tomorrow, and I'll tell you a little bit about him, because he solved the problem of the origin of sex, and people today don't even know that he did it. They don't even know who he is. The other was Harold Kirby, and he solved the problem about individuality, and this is an advertisement for the film this afternoon. If you want to see the film on individuality, I made rough references to it, but our lead will be termites. I think you're familiar. Many of the people who live here are very familiar. And in fact, if you had to bring me, I would be very grateful. But I want to impress upon you about the symbiogenetic, that is the complex origin of all the animals you know about, and we will see that in the film this afternoon, and I want to begin to convince you that genius lies in the biosphere, certainly not in these talky people. May I have the next slide, please? The next one, please. Next one. This is the next to last. There are the genius architects. These are the termites that have an air-conditioned, humidified, completely constant environment, and in fact, they grow their food. They live in complete harmony. The recycling is certainly not like it is off the pier here, where raw sewage is being pumped and dropped right into the bay, I understand, and where the nitrogen loading is making it prohibitive to even swim. They learned many years ago, like 200 million, they've learned how to recycle completely, and they have a complete control of their architecture in there, and living is very comfortable. May I have the next slide? If you're a termite, of course. And here is an example of what looks like a single animal. Does it look like a single animal to you, a single termite? And you will see in the film this afternoon that in fact we're talking about 1,000 million individuals in that one animal. And this one is in amber. That's amber. That's amber. So not only is it a single animal, it's one that died 20 million years ago. Science really is the only news. Everything else is he said, she said, he said, she said, or genital friction. Those are the main things. Either he said, she said, or genital friction to make more people, to make more people. At any rate, what do these insightful, intuitive people have, in my opinion? All of them. You could see that yesterday when I tried to make you all do the clapping, and Steve said, I am not a sheep. And I can't remember what the other gentleman said. Somebody else was refractory. Okay, so what is it? What is it? It's do science, not talk about it, not write about it, but do it. And mostly those people are very inarticulate and they can't write, as I told you yesterday. But there are some that can. But to do science, you have to be almost totally refractory to popular opinion. You cannot care about what people think about you, and you cannot pander to popular opinion ever. You can make money that way, but you cannot do science that way, because popular opinion is just simply not where it is. You have to also be, and this is where most people who have in it, most children who have in it to do science have the biggest problem. You have to be culturally enabled to pursue your inner vision. You have to go to the right schools, or be in the right place, or be in the right time, or have the right mentor, or have the right mother. I mean, actually, that's what most of the National Medal of Science people said. It was their mother. You have to be in a cultural situation where you are enabled to follow that vision to do science. I don't think that leads to genius, but it certainly leads to doing science.